Hi, guys, and welcome to another podcast here. It has been a while since I did a calendar podcast, and in today's podcast, I'm going to be talking a little bit about focusing on a number and on a calendar podcast today that we're going to do. We're just going to specifically focus on the number 5. Yes. So, in today's podcast, we're only going to focus on one number, and that's the 5. But before we focus on that number, there's a few stuff I need to talk about. Thank you guys so much. I know it's been a while. It's been about 2 months that I haven't done a podcast. I'm not going to frequently be uploading podcasts like for each month. So, just so you know, guys, that I will not be doing that. If you guys don't see a podcast next month, is because of that. Another thing is, in this podcast, in the upcoming podcasts as well, we will be focusing on looking at numbers, at days, numbers of the days of the months. So that's what we are going to be doing for the upcoming videos or parts of the podcasts. Hopefully you guys are having a great day, and we're going to focus on a little bit of a series on numbers, on showing you the numbers, the focused numbers that we're going to be doing for this upcoming parts. It's only going to be about up to 10 or 11, or not even that, or 8 parts that I'm going to be focused during this series of the calendar podcast. It's going to be an exciting series, so hopefully you guys are excited for that. If not, then it's fine. I'm doing it because I like doing podcasts. So let's start off with the one I said about the February. So remember back, I haven't checked it yet, but remember that I talked about February 29th, the leap year affects everything. So if you remember that I talked about that, and if it's a leap year, during the leap year, February 29, it can get affected because March is no longer the same as February after February 29th. So if I go over here and I show you guys a little bit of this, there you go. So maybe right here, you see that February 1st started on a Thursday. And then if you look right here, February 29 ended on a Thursday. So it started on a Thursday and then ended on a Thursday. Now if you go over here to the next month of March, look at the difference. It's not the same, because if it's a leap year, it added a day, which was on a Thursday, the 29th of February. And then on Friday, it was March started on a Friday, and February 29th was also on a Friday, but March ended until Sunday, March 31st on Sunday. So what's going on right now is that if you looked at February 1st, which started on a Thursday and then also ended on a Thursday, those two things that you guys need to know will be affected because of the leap year. They will always be the same. So like February 1st and February 29th will always start and end at the same day. So that is a key thing that you guys know. Remember that I talked about if you look over at the months of February, January, February, March, July, August, also May, and then October, and December. All those months all end on odd number. So here, let me show you guys. Well, unless if it's not a leap year on February. But anyways, all I'm saying here is, look, so January has 31 days. February, if it's a leap year only, it's going to end on the 29th. March, yeah. March has 31 days. Not April. May. Yep. Not June. This month, July. Yep, it does have the 31st, so that's an odd number. August as well also has a 31st. It's going to definitely be an odd number. It's going to end. October also has an odd number, so it's going to end on an odd number. And December, it also has an odd number, and it's going to happen. So all those months all end in odd numbers. But after that week of those odd numbers is going to be an odd number again, which is going to be the 7th. So like if you look over here on January, see where that December 31st was, or is going to be after December 31st on Tuesday, that's going to end up being the 7th on January, is going to end up being on the 7th on the Tuesday, because last month it was an odd number. Now the months of February, April, June, September, and November, all those months that I said, all those months are going to be in pattern as an even number. So like let me go and showing you guys an example here a little bit. Let's say the month of February this year, for example. It did not have a 29th because it was not a leap year. So see, the 28th was on Tuesday. If you scroll down here, when was the 7th? On a Tuesday, March 7th. And also was also on a Tuesday in February because it was not a leap year. So all I'm saying is, any date, any month, every time that month, the last day of the month has the last day, next month, it gives you a clue that next month is going to be the 7th. If it's an odd number or even number, it doesn't matter. Non number and even number are going to be, and if it's the last day of the month, is going to be the 7th upcoming month. So just keep that in mind. So, for us to start this part of the series where we talk a little bit about how we focused on the days. The day focus for today's podcast is going to be number 5. 5 is an odd number. It's going to be a number that's going to be a pattern of ending of an even number. So what I mean by that is, if you look at a calendar and you see there's a pattern, is an odd number and an even number, an odd number and an even number. But all I'm saying is, it depends on what number you choose on a calendar or number you're looking at. It's going to be that. That's going to be indicating that that number is an even number or if it's an odd number. So in this case, it's an odd number. I started with an odd number, and as you guys see right here, today is currently July 5th. I decided to choose that number because why not? So when we talk about this calendar and calendar podcast wise, let's look right here. It ended on an even number. But if you look at the month of February and probably even March as well, before we talk a little bit about this, but if you look at some months, I should say, there are some days that they start with an odd number or an even number, but they end up ending with the same results. So, for example, before I go to what I'm trying to say here, the month of January of next year in 2024, January 4th, or just all the even numbers, except for the second, except for the second, for January 4th and January 6th. Those 2 days on January 4th and January 6th, those two does not get a pattern of an even number at the end. So if you look right here, January 4th, right here, you see the 4th right there, which is going to be on that day right there, on Thursday. And then, if you look all the way down there on Thursday, on the 25th, it ended on an odd number. So all I'm saying is this, some days, it might be affected by some of those things because some even numbers does not, like if it starts with an even number, it does not end on an even number. Also, an odd number. A good example would be the month of February of 2024, next year. And February 3rd, for example. It started with an odd number on Saturday. But also on Saturday, February is not going to end right there. But as a Saturday, though, as a Saturday day of the day of the week, all I'm saying, though, is going to be ending on the 24th. So that's all I'm trying to say. Those days might not have that. So there are some dates or numbers like numbers 2 and 30. Those numbers may not affect because it has 5 weeks. So there are weeks like that has 5 weeks would be number 1, 2, and 3. Those are the 3 days that 3 numbers examples of days that has 5 weeks. Because number 2, we're going to look at that number at a future podcast. We're not going to look at that number right now, but yeah. But now let's look at the number 5. You guys, let's do a little bit of math right here of the calendar while we talk about this. What is 5 plus 5? Let me know in the comments. You guys get about 10 seconds to guess what is 5 plus 5. 10 seconds. If you guys don't guess it in time, then the timer is going to beep. Answer is 10. So, and then you add 2 more. This time, you guys only get 5 seconds to guess this. The timer is going to beep right now. So the answer is 12. So 5 plus 5 is 10, and then plus 2 more, it would be 12. Okay, you guys know there are 7 days a week. Now let's do another one. You guys are going to get 10 seconds on this one. What does 12 plus 8? 10 seconds. And yeah. 12 plus 8 would be 20. But there's not 8 days in a week. You guys know there are 7 days in a week. So you guys subtract 1, and I'm not going to do a timer for this one. That answer is 19. You know what you guys are going to do next step? 10 seconds to guess. Three seconds later. Alright, fair enough. Time's up. What you guys have to do, you guys will understand what number 9 is and what is the number 1 from 19 and understand what is the upcoming pattern. Remember that I talked about there's a pattern when you look at the calendar? Odd and even numbers and even numbers and odd numbers? That's the case that you guys are going to do right there. So you guys know the 5 is the first odd number on this one. Then it's an even number, which is 12. I talked about that. 19, an odd number. It's going to have to be an even number. So what you guys do, you turn the 9 upside up from 19, from the right side of the number 9. And then on the left side, you take that 1, because that was a whole week, 19. You add another 1, that would be 26. Because 1 from a week from number 19, and another 1 from another week, that will be 26. And that's also an even number. So you know what I mean? That's how I exercise my brain. You know, the thing is, if you guys exercise your brain or create a strategy so you guys know what or how to memorize a calendar. For today's podcast, it was only the number 5. We have about 7 more podcasts to do to talk about this, but it was just a simple example I was showing you guys. Have a strategy. I already talked about this, getting the code, and I'm not going to talk about this again. But all I'm saying is just, you know, just have your strategies of knowing the calendar, and you guys will be good. So that's how you memorize a calendar. Hopefully you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching again to another edition of calendar podcasts. And if I don't upload in 2 months again, you know why. I still am thinking of ideas. But it also gets me the interest of doing it as well. I love doing this. Again, I really do, but it probably would make me a lot of interest to do this because I really sometimes don't feel like doing it a lot. But I'm going to do it sometimes when I feel like it, when I want to. If you guys want more, let me know in the comments below, either on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, anywhere. If you guys are watching any platform, let me know. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys when I see you. Goodbye. And here's the outro.